Hello YouTube, this is my January 2016 sweet spot build log. So this PC is really going to pack a punch when it comes to 1080p gaming on very high to ultra settings, depending on the game. Now, I decided to go with AMD processor, and I know a lot of you Intel lovers are going to kind of hate on this, but I thought that it's going to really allow me to have some more opportunity for RAM and some more opportunity for a better graphics card when I choose to use an AMD processor. And in this scenario, it is the AMD FX 8350. Now, it is also a very overclockable CPU, and since we have the H100i GTX as our CPU cooler, we can keep it overclocked while keeping it sufficiently cooled at the same time. So as we go into it, we have the AMD FX 8350. Now this is an 8-core processor, and it is part of AMD's latest processor line. Now it came out around the same time as the Intel's i5s, and of course their i7s are out now, and they in most scenarios outperform the AMD FX series. But I thought that for this price range, $950, it was really a good choice. Now for our motherboard, we are using an ASRock Fatality 970 Performance motherboard. It is not SLI compatible. It has room for 32 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM. There's 4 slots, so you can have for 8 sticks. In this build, I am using 2 8 sticks for 16 gigabytes of RAM. They are the G.skill Air series, 16 gigabyte DDR3. This is one of the highest rated motherboards on PC Part Picker, and it has done me very well. It is a very good looking motherboard as well, using the AM3 Plus chipset. CPU socket. Sorry. It has the color scheme of black and red, which goes great with my theme because it is black and red. For the graphics card, I use the EVGA GeForce GTX 960. This is the super clocked edition with 4 gigabytes of DDR5 VRAM. It has ACX 2.0 cooling to keep it nice and quiet and cooled. The ACX cooling only turns on once it reaches a certain temperature. I think it's around 60 to 70 degrees Celsius. I'm not quite sure, but it's around that. It features DirectX 12, and it has G-Sync, NVIDIA's G-Sync. This is NVIDIA's sweet spot GPU for 1080p gaming and performance and price. This along with, I guess, the 970, which is also a very good and better GPU, but that runs for about $320, and I got this for about $220 with the $20 mail-in rebate. So really happy about this graphics card. Yeah. So, and it's got 4 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. So that usually for a mid-range gaming PC right now, you want at least 3 gigabytes of RAM. There's a 2 gigabyte version of this card for $20 cheaper. I would not recommend buying that. Just spend the extra money, get the 4 gigabytes, and it will do you well. For the CPU cooler, I went with the H100i GTX. Now it's an all-in-one CPU cooler, and it is it's very good looking, and it also will keep our AMD FX 8350 nice and cool when we overclock it. Over to peripherals, I went with the Corsair M65 RGB mouse. I love this mouse. It's got nice ergonomics. It has programmable buttons and adjustable DPI. It's got RGB LEDs, so you can make it fit the theme of your setup. With the keyboard, I decided to go with something a little less fancy, just because I could put that money towards other products. So I just went with the Gigabyte KM 3100. So it's a cheap keyboard, but it does the job. Now I got a copy of Microsoft Windows 10 at home. It's a 64-bit that I have installed on the PC. So yeah, this is just the latest version of Windows 10 or Windows. Yeah, if you already have Windows 8.1 or 7, you can upgrade to it. But since this is a new PC, you had to buy a brand new copy. Now for storage, I opted not to get an SSD just because I could put that money towards something else. So I just got a 1 terabyte, 720 or 7200 RPM mechanical hard drive. Now this is the Seagate Barracuda hard drive, and it does the job. And for PC games, a lot of them, they're 60, 50, 60, 70, maybe even hard drives to install. So if you are someone who likes to have a lot of games and a big library of games they can play, this is a good, or 1 terabyte is good to have. Now my power supply, I originally got a a Thermaltake 450 watt power supply, but that actually did not have the right power connectors for my GPU, so I had to go back and get this one. Now this is a Corsair CX600M. It's 80 plus bronze certified, so that will make it very efficient. And it is semi-modular, so there will be the CPU, or the motherboard 12-pin connector and the CPU 6-pin connector that has to automatically be plugged in. But then the rest of the cords you can plug in as you like to keep it nice and clean, and cable management a breeze. So that is it for the parts. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, the case is the NZXT S340. This is a very clean and simple case by NZXT, but it's a very nice one. It features 2 120 millimeter fans, then room for 2 more 120 millimeter or a 240 inch or millimeter radiator. In the front, right here, this detaches, and then under it is a dust filter that you can take off. In the back, it has PCI expansion slots, you can take them off using thumb screws, and also for the side panel, you take those off using thumb screws to make it nice and easy. In the front, it features 2 USB 3.0, a microphone header, headphone jack, and then the power switch, of course. So yeah. And then the RAM, I don't have the case for it anymore, but it is the G.skill Era Series 16GB DDR3 RAM, and it comes in red. So this is all the parts. Thank you. See you in the next part. So here, as you can see, is the finished project. Now, it's a very clean build. I did some pretty good wire management. As you can see, the motherboard and the RAM fits the red and black theme going along with the rest of the case. What I could do to make it fit it even more is add some LEDs. I could use red or white maybe, just to add some just jazz to the case and the build overall. And I could also get also I could get some cable sleeves from Corsair or Cable Mod or any other brand you'd like, and you could get it in red, black, or just black, and it would just make the build look really clean. Now let me open up the case, and I'll show you the interior, and be right back. So as you can see, this case features thumb screws, so you pretty much just screw it off right here and at the bottom. Then it has a little handle. Pull it off. Comes right off. And same goes for the power supply and the PCI expansion slots. So inside you can take a look. It's pretty well built. There is a cord going over the RAM here, but couldn't find anywhere else to put it, so I just kept it there. And I will show you the back and show you how much of a mess it is back there. For wire management, there is this thing right here that leads to the back, and then you can just run your cords that are all in a it's just like a jungle back there, and you can just run them past this and run the ones you need over here, and then you can also run them over the top, like right about there. So yeah, and also right here. Then there are two SSD brackets that you can just so if I ever want to upgrade in the future, put some SSDs in, I can do that easily. So back here I have the CX600M, and the fan is facing downward, and right here there's a dust filter, so I can intake air just to keep it cool, and then the dust filter will keep all the dust out so the power supply stays running well. Now here is pretty much just a jungle of cords. I kind of tried to flatten out as much as I could and keep as much of it back here as I could, but as you can tell, it was kind of hard for me. Right down here, I had the Seagate Barracuda 1 terabyte hard drive. And yeah, that's the only storage I have so far, but I'm planning on getting SSD. I recommend that if you ever want to get this build. So yeah, so that's the build. It runs most games 60 frames per second. And yeah, so thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and share. Go check out my social medias in the description, and thank you for watching.